Ladies, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Own Your DTM Journey. This will be somewhat of an interactive program. It won't be a boring lecture. It will be exciting, yet educational. Please, if you have any questions, if any questions come to mind, write them down. Put them in the chat. We want to hear from you. We will have a session towards the end of Q&A where you can air out all of those questions and get them answered. For we truly want you to succeed. So again, I say welcome to Own Your DTM Journey. Now, what does it mean to own? By definition, after some research, most of the resources say to own is to possess. To possess. But what you possess feels real, right? What you possess feels real, whether it is or it isn't. So what do you own? What exactly do you own? What do you possess? Take a few seconds to think. Now, what is your relationship with what you own, with what you possess? Now, take some time. What do you no longer need to possess? What is something that you possess, that you've been owning, that you really don't want to own any longer? Maybe it's anxiety, maybe it's depression, maybe it's debt, maybe it's a limiting mindset, maybe it's memories from your past. What you possess, you feel, so it appears real. I want you to think of this as something you can possess. But you must feel it. You must visualize it. Getting your DTM is an honor. It's such a high achievement. Do you believe it? Do you feel it? Can you see it? This is not something to take lightly, or it's important. And maybe you've been pondering about getting your DTM. Maybe it's crossed your mind. Maybe you're actively trying, but you need some help. You need some sort of bridge. Maybe it's a mentor. Maybe it's guidance. Maybe it's just education. You're in the right place. For again, what you possess, you feel, so it appears real. In this session, in this program, I invite you, yes, you, to feel, to digest, to process as you progress and possess your, yes, your DTM journey. At this time, I would like to present to you, ladies and gentlemen, distinguished Toastmaster Anne McLaughlin. Welcome to the stage.
Thank you very much, distinguished Toastmaster Blaze Goldsmith. Can everyone just give him a round of applause for that wonderful inspiration moment? Welcome to Own Your DTM Journey presentation. This is a quick overview of what we will cover today. So I'm Anne McLaughlin. I'm the DTM co-chair for Florida, and I have my wonderful counterpart, Rosina Stubbs, who you will hear from later on this evening. Let's get started by hearing the DTM journey of our fellow DTMs. And we could welcome back to the stage distinguished Toastmasters Blaze. Could you share with us how you owned your DTM journey and what that was like for you? Share your project or anything that would benefit our attendees today.
Absolutely. Did you all miss me? Rhetorical question. Don't answer, don't answer. It was pretty interesting journey as when I got into Toastmasters, DTM seemed so unreal. I wasn't able to visualize it. It seemed far-fetched. For I was just looking to complete a speech. And then after that, maybe complete a level 1. After that, maybe a level 2. I never truly dreamed of becoming a distinguished Toastmaster. For me, the game changer was mentors, having that guidance, people who believed in me, people who pushed me, people who voluntold me, even when inside I said 1,000 no's. Not me. No, no, no. I'll just fall back, blend into the audience. But my mentor saw something in me. So it was through their education and their guidance, truly, their bullying, that brought me forward to achieve my DTM. And I remember just from my project, as I've been in the fitness industry for close to 2 decades. So fitness has been very present in my life. So I got into fasting just briefly, and I was able to gather quite a few others who were interested in fasting and the benefits of fasting. And we turned that into a project. And at the end of that program, at the end of that project, they were able to share their results. And it was pretty mind blowing. All results weren't the same as everyone had their own unique journey. But I will say that everyone, including myself, was changed for sure.
Thank you for sharing your journey with us. I started Toastmasters about 12 years ago when we had the Legacy program. And I started Toastmasters because I was socially anxious. I communicated like a teacher because I was. I kept repeating myself over and over again. I wanted to understand what it meant to slow down and speak slowly and think quickly, and to become more competent with impromptu speaking. And when I joined Toastmasters, I didn't know what DTM meant. I thought it was decided to go missing. I thought it was some other thing. And years later, I decided to take that journey and own it. And the first thing I did was secure a mentor. And I was able to go through and understand the different aspects of it. And that's what we will be talking about tonight. So the Distinguished Toastmaster Awards is the highest level of education achievement in Toastmasters. For those in academia, think about a PhD. That's similar to what it represents here. Some of the benefits of the DTM credential: develop leadership skills, networking opportunity, personal growth. And my favorite is mentoring and giving back to new members. So everyone, what does owning your DTM journey means to you? If you could take a minute and add it to the chat, it could be a word, it could be an action. What does owning your DTM journey looks like for you? And while we're doing that, I'd like to invite our Program Quality Director, Distinguished Toastmaster Anson, to share quickly about his DTM journey.
Okay, there we go. Thank you, Distinguished Toastmaster McLaughlin. My DTM journey, similar to Blaze, when I first joined Toastmasters some years ago, DTM wasn't really at, in my view, didn't know what the DTM was or how do you get it. I just joined the club to, of course, better enhance my public speaking and leadership skills. And once I got into, I think it was near VPE or VPM at the time, and my mentor, he asked me if I'm going for the DTM. So I was like, DTM, what is that? And then as they continue to, well, they pretty much created a chart for me on what to achieve and how to achieve it. And then when I noticed on this chart that it was, okay, serve 6 months as club officer, I already did that. I had my, what it was known back in the day as advanced communicator, bronze, silver. And I just, so when I saw on this chart that I was achieving it step by step, that was really encouraged me to see it through to the end. So with my DTM journey, it started off, of course, in the executive level, or the club level. And then as I went through the high performance leadership project, completed that. And the tip of the iceberg really was, well, luckily we were transitioning from legacy program to pathways. And luckily, when I served as a club coach, it really gave me that 2-for-1 deal, which is where you serve as a club coach, but also you get district leadership credit, and that is how I got my DTM. So it's not a matter of thinking, "Oh wow, I have to do so much things." Chances are you are already doing what you're supposed to be doing, but you just need that mentorship, like Blaze said, and that commitment and that guidance to keep on going forward. Back to you, Don.
Thank you so much for sharing. Can everyone see my screen?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay, wonderful. So let's take a look in the chat. Owning your DTM journey, we see achievement, growth, see achievement again, consistency, strategic planning, being a go-giver. Love that one. Succeeded in the program, taking action and control. So thank you for sharing. One thing I love about our Toastmasters experience is it's an experiential learning experience. You could never graduate, but if you do all the different pieces, you will earn your Distinguished Toastmaster designation. But how do you earn the award? First, you complete 2 learning paths. And with Pathway, we have quite a few paths. I completed my engaging humor and my visionary communication path. And this was while COVID was happening, so I did everything online. Secondly, serve as a club officer. I've been serving for quite some time as president and of VPE, vice president of membership, so I know I had that. Served as a district leader. Right now, we have 3 district leaders that I could think about that are on the call right now. I'm serving this year as DTM co-chair. I've served as area director. I've served as community outreach chair, and I've served as district finance manager. So I served in quite a few roles. So I can go for my 2nd, 3rd, or 4th DTM if I wish. Served successfully as a club mentor or coach. I served as a club coach, and I had a wonderful experience because I was able to get a club that was struggling back to a good status. Number 5, serve successfully with one of the following. I love the youth, and I've worked with the youth in churches. I've worked with the youth with Toastmasters. So I conducted a youth leadership program with the Jack and Jill organization, and I had a blast. And that club is now a Gavel Club, and they're operating today. So I had a chance to own my DTM journey after I quit Toastmasters about 3 times. One, because the program had changed to Pathways and I was frustrated. 2, because of a bad evaluation. And 3, because of COVID. But I realized that when I quit, I'm quitting on myself. So when COVID happened, I owned my journey. I got a mentor. I joined 2 additional clubs, and I decided that I wanted to serve in leadership. And I earned my DTM in 2021, and I've been serving ever since. And I am back in the Toastmaster Public Speaking Communication Laboratory. And I presented my first icebreaker speech. And again, Toastmasters is the gift that keeps on giving. And with that, I'd like to introduce Distinguished Toastmaster, my partner in crime, Distinguished Toastmaster Rosina Stubbs, DTM co-chair, who will share more about the DTM project and also her journey as a DTM.
Thank you so much, everyone. Can you please put your hands together and just give Distinguished Toastmaster and a round of applause for just taking us through all of the various steps to actually getting to this point of the DTM project and being transparent with sharing why she's done it, why she's still doing it. And as you can hear, she's not just taking the one she has, but she's going for a whole 4 more. So you heard already, you don't have to just get one. You can do it all over again. But let's talk a little bit about the DTM project. And so Anne talked about the fact that the DTM is similar to a PhD. And so now we're on our thesis. We're now doing that big meaty thing that says we know what we are talking about. So let's talk first about how you actually can get access to the DTM project, because it looks just like another path in Pathways. So first of all, you're going to have to get through one entire path, and then you have to complete levels 1, 2, and 3 of your second path. So no, you don't have to finish those levels as yet, but you have to at least get halfway through. Once you've gotten halfway through, it does not pop up in your Basecamp automatically. You're going to have to take some action and email Toastmasters International. And the email address is right there on the screen. You have to email educationprogram@toastmasters.org. Once you've done that, then you should see the path activated in your Basecamp. So without that, you should not get started. So please ensure that you complete a whole path. You complete levels 1, 2, and 3 in your second path, and then send that email over to get access to your DTM project. Now, what we love to do sometimes in Toastmasters, terrible habit, I'm not condoning it. Please, before you get started, go through the information. Take your time and read through it. It is incredibly helpful. It walks you through as expected and takes you step by step on all the key things that you need to complete the actual project or path in Basecamp. There's going to be about 2 speeches you're going to have to do. But before we get into the speeches, you're going to have to identify what that project is. And so you have to decide what is that project you're going to do for your DTM project. Now, what's recommended is that your project is something that, 1, allows you to really utilize your leadership skills, which means you cannot do this by yourself. You have to be able to work with a team that shows that you have learned the leadership skills throughout the program and then utilize those skills to complete a project. They're not going to box you in. The project is yours to own. So it's good to choose something that you're passionate about, things that would benefit Toastmasters, that benefits other organizations that you're in, or benefits your job. So for example, if you are a supervisor at your job and there's a project you have to do, that could be used as your DTM project. If you are not a supervisor, then ask your supervisor to get you a chance to take a leadership role with a project and use that as well. So for me, I decided to do a project that was close to my heart. So I love reading to kids. And so I decided to do my DTM project with a topic called Reading in Action. And what I did to ensure that this particular project benefited Toastmasters as well as fulfilled my passion, I invited a lot of Toastmasters to come along with me. So I had different Toastmasters reading to the children. But how to make this into a project is I allowed the actual readers, the Toastmasters, to be evaluated. It allowed them to, one, enhance their reading skills. It allowed the teachers to evaluate the readers, and it gave us a chance to give back to the community. So it was multifaceted, community-minded, Toastmasters development-minded, allowed us to get instant feedback, and also allowed us to be able to fulfill another skill of exciting children about reading. And that was my project. And so I would encourage you to choose a project that, one, you're passionate about or truly gives you a chance to stretch and to grow. For persons that are already DTMs in the chat, if you want to share what your DTM project would be for persons to get a clue into it, please go ahead and put it in the chat. If you haven't done your DTM yet, but you've been thinking about a project, take some time to really think about it. Is it something that is going to cause you to stretch? Something that's going to cause you to work with others? And is it something that's going to allow you to truly work with persons to be able to enhance your leadership skills? So once you've thought about that project, you're going to have to do a 5 to 7 minute speech to talk about that project before you actually do the project. So you've got a project idea in your mind, like my reading program. So before I actually implemented it, I had to give a speech about it to talk about what my project is going to be and how I intend to implement it. After I did my project, I had to get feedback from the persons that would have worked with me. And there's going to be a survey that you're going to have them complete called a 360 survey that allows them to tell you how you were as a leader, where you could improve, what you did well. Because remember now, the biggest thing is how do you enhance your leadership skills? And we do want to get better. And after you've done the project, you've gotten your feedback, now you're going to give a 10-minute speech on the entire experience, including the feedback that you got. And so, yes, the project is not just a project, it's also a collection of speeches that you have to fulfill. And so the journey is great, and it culminates with a project that you can take away. And if you do it well, someone else can be able to duplicate that project. And there is some benefit not just to you, but to Toastmasters, your organizations, your co-workers, or maybe you can use this as a starting point to even bigger project that you have for your own personal benefit. So I'm hoping that, one, you don't just stop at your first path. You take the steps to getting to your second path halfway through so you can get access to the DTM project, and then go ahead, identify your project, speak, complete, and do it well. I want to thank you all for listening to this component of what a DTM project is and how to get access to it. We do want to now open the floor for questions. Are there any questions that you may have? I'm going to ask so we can ensure that we can hear each other and we can be able to do it orderly, to perhaps type it in the chat, or you can raise your hand and we can identify who you are so you can be able to speak the particular question out loud. But I want to thank you for your attention to both of those segments. I noticed that distinguished Toastmaster, Linda Clark put in her project that she's planning for a TLI for a second DTM. So you hear it's not just one DTM. You can keep on going because there's so much more that you can learn and develop as you go through this program. Yes, Daniel, is definitely challenging, but definitely doable. And what Anne said is critical. Identifying a mentor. This program is not designed for us to do it alone. And so identify someone who has their DTM already, who you can trust, who can support you on your journey. When you identify your team for the DTM project, it's like the right job, right? You won't hire people that won't work. So pick a team that works well with you, that you can work well with, so that your project can be successful. Like Anne mentioned, there's times when you may want to stop, where there's times maybe where you want to be halted. Have someone who's going to encourage you and say, don't stop, keep on going. You get stumped on a speech because, of course, you got to get through a whole path to be able to get to the second path for your project. have someone who's going to say, hey, are you done yet? Do you need some help? How can I support you? Maybe you might have a club that you'd like to visit so you can get different opportunities to speak. Those are different ways you can get to it. Glow's asking, what percentage of my team needs to be Toastmasters? Glow's 0%. You don't have to use Toastmasters at all. It can be persons from anywhere. There's no mandatory requirement to use Toastmasters, but if you're like me, my circle is Toastmasters, so I kind of keep my circle tight. That's a great question. Any other questions? There's a question in the chat, where's a 10-minute speech presented? So remember, this is Toastmasters, so all of your speeches should be at a Toastmasters club. So your VP should be aware of the speech if you're going to present it outside of your club so that they can be able to have record, because when you're done with your DTM project and all of your paths, your VP has to sign off on the application form for you to be able to submit for your DTM. So you wouldn't want the VP to say, I don't remember you doing your DTM project. That would not be good.
No.
Kalpana, I'm not sure I understand the question. Methods to approach or do the YLP. Are you asking how do you do a YLP, or what's the exact question so I can make sure I answer it correctly? Why can have Anna assist me with the question?
I wanted to know, how do I approach for YLP? I'm based in England, so I can do things only online. So if I know our VP Linda was doing YLP in person along with Glow, but obviously I'm unable. I would love to be there and be in person and attend YLP, everything, but unfortunately I'm across the pond. So if I have to do something online YLP, how do I approach and do things?
So luckily for you, Kalpana, I actually know a group of Toastmasters that facilitated a YLP online. So they were in one island and the students were in another island. And so the entire YLP program was done online. So you follow the same framework, you follow the same rules and requirements, but the difference is it becomes a virtual YLP instead of an in-person YLP. Like we have, virtual meetings or virtual clubs. So that particular YLP will be, of course, all virtual, but it's definitely possible.
And I could share some additional information. One of the things that I did when I completed my YLP was I reached out to like boys and girls clubs and youth groups and organizations within your reach, and churches as well, to see if there's a group of students between ages 4, because I think my youngest student was 4 years old, 4 to 17. And we had 20 people in that group. And it was done virtually because it was done during the time of COVID. So once you identify the organization and you have a team of probably 4 or 5 Toastmasters or people that can assist you, then you're able to do that project.
And can you go back a few slides to the checklist we had for being able to obtain your DTM? There's a question on the floor. Do I have to serve as an area director to get the DTM, or just can I serve as a club coach? If you want to go ahead and take that question, Anne.
Sure. So you would need to do both. So they're in different categories. So the third category would be a district leader, of which area director would be a district role, and then a club mentor or club coach. So that would be another requirement. And these are 1-year roles, so you want to identify those clubs early so that you can help the club achieve their goal, and therefore achieving the club coach or club mentor credit.
We have another question in the chat. The question states about the timing. So after your 3rd level in your 2nd path, is that when you can start the application process towards your DTM? And so this one here, Patrice, is you would need to complete a full path first and complete levels 1, 2, and 3. And then you can actually place an email to the education email to be able to get access to your DTM project. And then, of course, once you get access to your DTM project, then you can start the project process, but you still have to complete the additional levels and pathways to complete those 2 learning paths. Once you've completed all 6 of those components here on this screen, then you can put your application form in for your actual DTM. So the first requirement is to get the email in to get access to the actual project, but complete all of these steps before you can put the application form in for your DTM itself. And these are great questions. Any other questions? Here we go. What is the difference between a club mentor and a club coach? And how are these roles initiated? You want to take this one on?
You could take that one.
No problem. So the difference between a club mentor and a club coach. I've only served as a club mentor. I've got colleagues in the room that have served as a club coach. So the difference is also timing. So club mentors are usually assigned when a brand new club opens. So a brand new club opens and they need sponsors and they need mentors to get them going and to help them on their initiation journey of being a new Toastmasters club. A club coach is someone who comes in after a club has been open for quite some time and they need support to be able to get back to the status of being in good standing with Toastmasters International. So there's something deficient in the club that they need some help. And so they're going to reach out and ask the district to provide them someone to help them to be able to get their club where they want it to be in the best standing in the district. And so a club coach is assigned to help them to be able to get in good standing. And that's the difference between the 2 roles, club mentor, club coach. To be able to get access to either one of them, for the mentor, usually it's going to be someone who's opening a new club would reach out for someone to support and assist with the mentorship. So you'd want to know or be connected to someone who's getting a new club opened. The club coach is something you have to apply through to the district. So the district will have, I think we have our club coaches, and I need someone to help me with the exact name of it. But we have a representative that can support with assigning club coaches for persons that are interested in being a club coach. I hope that answers the question. And I see here, interested in being a club coach, club mentor, club sponsor, or a tag team, please let us know. Daybreak Toastmasters is sending in a chat message. We also have in the chat, the club growth director can support with assigning club coaches. So you can reach out to the club growth director to be able to assist with that.
I know Carlene had a question.
Yes. Toastmasters, I wanted to find out, as you mentioned, that once you're on your second pass, you can do levels 1, levels 2, level 3, and then you can apply for the DTM project. Once a project has been completed, do you still have to continue through to level 4 and 5 of the second path?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Garfield has in the chat, our area directors considered club mentors. So Garfield, there are 2 different roles. So the area director is a particular role that is identified through a process of application, interviews, etc. And they work directly with the division directors as a district role. So that's part of number 3, the district leader. And the club mentor is part of number 4, which is, like I said, a different role that normally comes when a new club is opened to support that club with their initiation process. Now, there are persons that may have served as 2 at the same time. So you can be an area director and also be assigned as a club mentor. But when it comes to the listings, they're not the same thing. They're 2 different things, but a person can serve in both roles at the same time based on assignments. You're welcome. Are there any other questions? Those are really great questions. Please feel free to ask any question you may have, something that may have been sitting on your chest for quite some time and you want more clarity. Now's the time. We're here to be able to support you on your DTM journey. Everyone in this room is able to get their DTM if you do not have one already, and we want to help you get there. Go ahead, Julie.
Thank you. Thank you. Hello, everyone. So I joined Toastmasters some years ago, and I just recently rejoined. When I initially joined, I guess I didn't pay much attention to what it was to be a distinguished Toastmaster. And now that I've recently rejoined, I guess my question is in addition to, of course, giving service and so forth, what is the benefits of being a DTM?
Go ahead, Anne. What is the benefits of being a DTM?
Some of the benefits of being a DTM are listed here. But on a personal note, when I became a DTM, I gained more confidence. I started to do more public speaking outside of Toastmasters, and other organizations recognize distinguished Toastmasters from Toastmaster as professional speakers. I was able to network. I was able to improve my leadership and communication skills. So those are some of the benefits that I had. I think for me, the most important is to help other people become distinguished Toastmasters. But again, on the professional front, I was able to go out and speak publicly without getting a master's in public speaking, because the professional community recognizes DTMs from Toastmasters as being professional speakers. So hopefully that helps. And any other Toastmaster could chime in as well, any other DTM. Blaze, you want to share something on that?
I mean, you pretty much hit the nail on the head. For it, it adds more prestige, more value to your name. It's more than just, oh, I attend Toastmasters meetings and I speak here and there. They assume that you have some expertise, like in your speaking as well. So by DTM, just having a DTM, and sometimes people watch your journey and you don't know, and you post things on social media, and even if you have 10 likes, you just never know who's paying attention. And when the time is right, they'll reach out to you. They'll see you, whether you're in the grocery store or at the park or wherever, and they'll reach out to you and they'll remember the things that you post. So your hard work is never in vain, and it's never just for you. I think we have a couple more questions as well in the chat, and also we have hands raised as well.
So the ones in the chat first, Christine asked about, can I list all the district leader options? So what I did I'm hoping you can access it, was I placed the link for the district leadership handbook in the chat. So in there has details about the district leadership and some other responsibilities that come along with being a district leader. So let me know if that can support you with answering your question. And then Ryan has in the chat, what's the difference between a speechcraft or a club sponsor? I'm going to ask Anna if she can go back to that page so I can kind of talk it through on the page with the checklist of the DTM journey. And so for this one here, the speechcraft will come under our community initiatives, right? One is a sponsor, like I mentioned, who opens up a brand new club. So this person is the one that creates a new club based on either, it could be a corporate club, it could be an open club, but a club sponsor opens up a brand new club. And then of course, speechcraft is where persons are almost like a YLP, but for persons over 18, right? So YLP is for students under 18, and speechcraft is a different structure, but similar, where you have a program over a few weeks where you walk persons through components of the Toastmasters program, but those persons are over 18. So they're not going to be our youth, but it's similar types of a program, but just different age brackets. But the club sponsor is the person that actually was opening or creating a brand new club. I hope that answers the question. And we have a hand up. Go ahead, Garfield.
What is the timeline? Good afternoon, good evening, sorry. What is the timeline from completing? Well, I guess you can take up to any amount of time to complete the paths. Like serving as a club officer, that's 1 whole year, right?
Yes.
And then district leader, can you be a club officer and district leader at the same time? Is that like something that you can be in 1 year?
So Garfield, yes, and yes. What has usually
Okay.
happened in the past is persons, because the district leadership requires you to have some knowledge of Toastmasters, they like to recommend that you at least serve as a VPE or a president so you can understand holistically how the program works. But there has been instances where we've had exceptions or persons have not served in that role as yet, but still have been able to be a district leader. But if you have been in the club for quite some time, you can serve as president, for example, and be an area director at the same time. It's a heavy load, but it can be done. And so if you have the tenacity to do multiple things at one time, anything is possible. But it'll be good to at least know the program so that you can be able to support and assist a club in that district role that you identify that you like to have. But yes, there's a bit of a time path because each phase requires some time to complete.
Well, kind of the only thing that's really holding you back is how long it takes you to get to the third level of your second path.
And all that is up to you, right? How often you want to speak, how you're improving along the way. And so all those things are all based on the individual. So everybody's journey is very unique and very different, all based on you and what you would like to accomplish. Just from my personal request and experience is it is a journey and it's about finishing it, but it's also about kind of the process to finishing it. If you are a DTM, a distinguished Toastmaster, and as Anne mentioned, if you want to take that in line with a PhD, you want someone that when they present, when they lead, when they speak, you can see here DTM, distinguished Toastmaster. What you wouldn't want is someone who's a distinguished Toastmaster who's acting in the capacity of a brand new Toastmaster without the experience, without the ability to present themselves well. And so take your time to learn the skills, but that time you take is up to you. But trust the process, go through the process, but take the time you need to also develop along the way. That's my advice for persons on the DTM journey. Your timing is yours, but truly gain the experiences needed to be grounded, to be that mentor, that support to someone else once you get your decision.
Understood. Thank you so much.
Any other questions? I saw our Piki, you had a question in the chat. Oh, there we go. I see someone made a comment about their experiences. Carlene says she was a VP and area director together. It's a load, but doable. Carlene, I did the same thing. Definitely a load, but definitely doable.
You all are gluttons for pain.
Linda said I was a club officer, area director, and a club coach in 2023. Linda, definitely you are a marathon runner, so I know you could handle the distance and the load and the training and preparation. But anything is doable, guys. Anything is doable if your heart is in it, your mind is in it, and you're prepared to put the work in. Anything is possible.
I'd like to share something about Speechcraft and the YLP. When you think of a Speechcraft, think about you being in an organization where Toastmaster could benefit that group. For example, I worked at a university, and the instructors, they needed Toastmasters. If I hear a great question, yeah, one more time, I'm like, no, guys. So we created a Speechcraft, which meant that we had individuals come together, and it was hosted by, our Toastmaster. And we had an 8-week program where we went through impromptu speaking, table topics, leadership, and we went through an entire 8-week program. And that was for free as far as to the organization. Once that group is finished with that 8-week program, they can decide to become a club. And at that point, they would be at that point, the person who hosted the Speechcraft could be a club sponsor. So that's another way that Toastmaster help organizations to form clubs, and a Speechcraft, that's one of the way that you showcase what are the skills that people would need, and they could become a club. The second thing is Toastmasters has what's called a GABA club. And GABA club are for those individuals that are not able to join a regular club for different reasons. For example, the youth leadership program, those individuals are under 18 years old. So they won't be able to join an adult club. So they form their own GABA club. So when I did my YLP at the Jack and Jill, I was able to sponsor their club. I didn't get sponsorship points because that's something I did because it was a GABA club. So once these programs are finished, the aim is to continue by way of a GABA club, which is the youth leadership program, or if it's a Speechcraft where it's individuals over 18, they can start a brand new club. So I really like those two. And another piece of the GABA club is, did anyone know that Toastmasters have GABA clubs in the prison system? So in Martin County, where I used to live, there's a Toastmaster group that went to the prisons, and those incarcerated folks, they need to know how to present so they could get parole, they could leave, they could start looking for jobs. So Toastmasters, it's deep and wide. And that's one of the things that I really appreciate about Toastmasters. So the GABA Club, meaning the youth leadership program, if they want to start their own club, that's a GABA Club. And the people who are incarcerated, that's a GABA Club. So hopefully that helps.
If I may, I would just like to add that there are so many opportunities, especially in schools, middle schools, high school. They're always looking for education. I've done 2 YLPs. One was on Zoom virtually with the middle school, and another one was in person. There are always opportunities at schools, whether it's the school that your children go to or friends, neighbors. I'm not saying schools are the only, as mentioned, there are various ways and various avenues, but schools are always looking for opportunity for those to serve mental health.
I see in the chat we have a question. So can a YLP program be done at a school which has a GABA club already? I don't see why not. I mean, I think especially if those students are not all members of the GABA club, so you have a collection of students, it's for a period of time, and it's a very clear program and framework versus just regular club meetings. And so I'm not sure there'd be an issue with hosting a YLP where additional students can attend for a period of time. But if the GABA club is already established, you may want to try another school just so that you can give a new person new experiences. And same thing with junior achievement, same thing applies. So students definitely can be part of a YLP. It's just the time commitment. Can they commit to the weeks that's required for the YLP program?
And as far as the states, I know Boys and Girls Club, they have like a big competition every year, a speaking competition. So I assist with that. I know Jack and Jill, they definitely have speaking opportunities for students, churches, schools. So anywhere where you have youth. Someone mentioned that the prison ministry as a church, what a great idea.
We have in the chat too, with respect to number 5, what does it mean to successfully serve? How is it measured? And I think for most of them, we have the same phrase, serve successfully as a club mentor or coach. So there's required timelines, required commitments. And so remember now too, Toastmasters is all about integrity, right? So it's going to be a mix of integrity where it's a 6-week or 8-week program and you have put the time in and you're able to attest that you've done just that. The club coach is a bit unique because I think there's also some measurable things that may need to be done, timing as well as the success of the club. So again, the measurements will be based on the particular activity that you've identified. So if you're a sponsor, it's a time frame. If you are doing a Speechcraft, there's a time frame. And there's also key components that need to take place in all of those roles.
If I could add to that, for example, with the club sponsor, if you sponsor a club and they have 20 active members and you've paid the dues and submitted all the forms and it's a viable club, then that would be qualified as being successful. For a YLP, if it's an 8-week YLP, complete the program, have the little graduation and, report this to Toastmasters International, and the same with the Speechcraft.
Thank you, Linda. Linda would have mentioned in the chat that Speechcraft is also measurable via the Speechcraft Gateway. So that one is an online portal. So there's the tool that also supports with the person's complete what's required. Baleen in the chat, what if a person would have completed their CC and a path? Would they have to do another path? So unfortunately, Baleen, that particular program has definitely been completely sunsetted. And so anything from the old program will no longer be accepted. And so you would have to do everything now with the new pathways program. So it needs to be 2 paths and pathways to be accepted. Are there any further questions? And if you're okay with that, I'd like to hand it over to our Program Quality Director, Distinguished Toastmaster Anson Munnings, to give us a few words. Thank you, Distinguished Toastmaster Anson Munnings. The floor is yours.
Amazing, amazing. Thank you, my wonderful, dynamic DTM duo. That is Distinguished Toastmaster Regina Stubbs and Anne McLaughlin for a wonderful DTM journey step. I'd like to commend all of you who are here this evening, some who have obtained their DTMs already, and some who just wants to obtain maybe their second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, who knows, consecutive DTM. I just want to commend each of you for your commitment to that personal development. The journey towards achieving your DTM is not just merely about reaching a milestone, but it's also about the growth, the passion, and the perseverance you exhibit. A recent study, I think in 2020, it shows that the world, out of the entire numbers of Toastmasters in the entire world, can you guess how many percent of those become DTMs? Something 10%? Do I hear 5? Do I hear 8%? No? The answer is 1%. So by you becoming a DTM, you will join the 1% of Toastmasters who have started their journey and who has obtained that prestigious role, that prestigious title of Distinguished Toastmaster. As you navigate through the paths and the projects required for the DTM, remember that each speech, each role that you have taken on, and each mentoring opportunity contributes to your growth. Embrace those challenges. Don't shy away from it. Don't prolong it. They are stepping stones to becoming a more effective leader and speaker. I urge each of you to take full advantage of the resources available within your district, our district, District 47, and Toastmasters in its entirety. Engage with your clubs, connect with your mentors, and share your experiences with those who want to become DTM as well. The Toastmasters community is built on support and encouragement. And additionally, keep your focus on service. Leadership in Toastmasters is rooted in the desire to uplift others, whether it's coaching a club, coaching new members, leading a club, or participating at the district level. Your influence always creates a ripple effect that enriches our Toastmasters community. And the journey at times may be tedious. I mean, me personally, it took me, maybe 8 years to get my DTM. For some, it's taken them 2-3 years. But celebrate your progress at every step that you achieve. If you have successfully coached a club, celebrate that. If you have completed your first path, celebrate that. Second, third, whatever may have you. Becoming a Distinguished Toastmaster, I will repeat once again, is not solely about the title. It's about becoming that person of impact. Strive to inspire, strive to lead, and to serve. I'd like to thank you once again for your time and your presence this evening. I think we do have some more time if we have a more Q&A, but I will yield the virtual lectern back to our wonderful dynamic duo, trio if you include Blaze. Blaze, Anne, and Rosino. Thank you.
I don't know if it's a question, but just an observation. Number 3, it says to serve as a district leader. That's an elected position, right? You have to be